YouTube, it's Christine with Souls Rising, jumping on with some oracle messages for all of my Capricorns out there. So if you have Capricorn as your sun, moon, or your rising sign, please stick around because these are your messages. And as always, these are collective messages, so take what resonates, leave what does not. I will have all of the decks that I am using in this reading linked in the description box below, as well as information on how you can schedule a personalized private reading with me if you would feel that you need one. So let's jump right in. And of course, guys, as always, don't forget, if you like this video, to hit the like button or subscribe so that you can get more content as I make it available in the future. It also does help this message get out to more people who may need to hear it. So let's jump in. What do my Capricorns need to know? Okay, Capricorn. So let me show you the cards that came out and I'll talk about what I am picking up intuitively from them. So the first card is Balder, Beauty. These are from the Queen of the Sun Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Some of you might be familiar with her Queen of the Moon Oracle. This is very similar, but these are all sun energies instead of moon or lunar energies. Second card is Imbolc, Renewal. And then we have Solar Cycle 2, Action. We have this woman scaling a mountain here. Very bold, decisive action being taken. And then underneath we have Gratitude, Llamas, Latha, Vitality, and then Soul, Welcome. Okay, so the very first thing I was getting with these cards, so the first one that came out, so I know this card says Beauty, but the energy of this card in this deck does not read that way to me at all. And the first thing that was coming to mind, I kept hearing this like line from an old song, in your eyes, the light, the heat. And I kept getting like that there is something that I feel like you guys have been wanting to know, or maybe someone around you that you have some suspicions of, or maybe you feel like they're either keeping something from you, or you feel like there's something, maybe a secret or something, maybe they're not just not telling you the whole story about something. And I keep getting with this card that you're going to see the truth in their eyes, okay? That the truth is in their eyes and that you are going to see it. You're really going to see it. You know, there's that saying that the eyes are the windows to the soul. And so when you are talking to this person that you maybe are feeling uncertain about or unsure if you should trust or listen to, or maybe you just feel like they're holding something back, and it may not be anything bad or big, but you know, sometimes people tell you part of the story, but maybe not everything that's going on with them or with a situation. And I kind of get that vibe with this, like the truth is in their eyes, so make eye contact. And maybe this person isn't able to make eye contact with you when they're telling you the story or giving you these details because it's not true. But I definitely get this sense of like, that there's something that you've been suspicious about, or something you already are aware of or sort of not fully trusting, and that you really do need to listen to your intuition and really look in their eyes because they're going to give this person away. They're going to give away the truth. And when you see it, then you have to really believe it. You have to hold your power. And I kind of feel like for some of my Capricorns out there, you may have actually given some of this power away to this other person, and maybe too much. So maybe in the past, this is someone that you put a little too much trust and faith in, and now you're kind of having to take it back. You may even feel like, for some of my Capricorns, you might even feel like that this person has a hold on you or has some ability to cause you to doubt or question yourself even. And that may have been the case in the relationship in the past, but I feel like that is a cycle that you are now breaking through. So I feel like my Capricorns are ready, like fearless, ready now to see the truth of this person, the truth of the situation. And again, you know, maybe this is something that somebody has been keeping from you, you know, out of protection, but I just get that my Capricorns have a niggle and they know something's up. They just feel something is not quite right about the story that they have received, or they feel like something's kind of off here. I also feel like with this card that you guys have the power in your own hands to do something about this situation. So you may be receiving literally like a call to action to do something about this. So I kind of feel like some of my Capricorns, like there's a choice being given to you to, it's like, who's going to, moving forward in the relationship with this person, who's going to hold the power? Are you going to take it back and hold it yourself, or are you going to give it to this other person? So maybe there's an opportunity for some intervention on your part, some action to be taken on your part, because the next card we have is this action card, and I get fearless, bold action here. You maybe have an opportunity to make action and do something about the situation that will, like an intervention that will help move things forward in a better way, or a choice to sort of keep going with your eyes shut, okay? Almost like, okay, I kind of see this, but I don't really want to see this. And maybe you're going to let the other person continue to hold their cards too close to the vest, or like, it's almost like, am I going to give them the power? And maybe you've given this person too much power. I was kind of getting that before. So it's like, you're going to keep letting them have all the power, or are you going to take your power back? Okay. That doesn't mean overpowering someone else or disempowering the other person. That's not really healthy either. What we want, though, is not to be giving our own power over to someone else. And I kind of feel like that's what this is asking, is that it's like you're being asked. It's weird. I just feel like with this card, it's like you're being asked, are you going to take this power back or not? Are you going to do it or not? Do you want your power or not? Are you ready for this call to action to do something different? It's almost like, it's almost like Capricorn, you're being asked, are you ready to see this truth? Are you ready? Because it's there and it's in this person's eyes, and their eyes are going to give it away. It's coming out, okay? If you're ready to let it be seen. But then once you hear it, you got to do something with it. Okay. But I really do feel, again, bold and fearless. So I feel like once you do let this truth come out or sink in, and you really acknowledge it for what it is, I feel like my Capricorns are going to know what they need to do with that information. Like, it feels very crystal clear to me then. Like, and I see, like, I just keep getting like no holding back, then. It's on. It's like you're ready to move forward. Even if that feels like scaling a mountain, even if that feels like a big climb or a big task to take on, it's like you're going to be ready for it. But you had to take your power back in order to do that. So in order to take this bold and courageous step forward, you really do have to be standing in your power and feel strong within your own self and in your own energy. I still get the sense of this other person's energy may have been taking too much, or you may have just been giving too much to this person. And I kind of feel like, you know, these next three cards are really explaining why my Capricorns have been hanging back or holding back, or maybe not wanting to see this truth, because I don't know how well it's really being hidden. I just feel like there's an unwantingness or not wanting to see something. And I get with this gratitude card, what I'm really being pulled to here is that this lie or this falseness is like a delicate little bubble, okay? And it feels like maybe it's been woven to protect something, and that, you know, Capricorn, that when you make this shift, that when you really see it for what it is, it's like, you know, the bubble's going to burst open. It's going to burst wide open, and you won't be able to protect this thing anymore. Look at that rose is like perfectly preserved there by that bubble of light. It's like being protected. It makes me think of like flowers in resin where they don't wilt and they don't die. So it almost feels like you're trying to hold on to something, or you're trying to preserve this relationship or this connection or the story that maybe you were told or had in your mind. Sorry, my ear is like itching for some reason. I wonder if that, hold on, does that, Spirit, is there a message with that? Okay, a couple things. First of all, some of you may literally, your ear may literally be itching when this person's telling you lies. Okay, some of my Capricorns watching this, you're a little intuitive, and you actually kind of might notice you get ear itching when this person's not being honest. For others of you, this is a call out to listen carefully to the words this person is saying, or to listen for the truth. Okay, you need to really listen carefully to everything that's being said, but also for what is not being said. Sometimes the truth is in what's not being spoken or what's not being shared, right? But I get with this card that you know that when you let this sink in, the truth of the situation, that this bubble is going to burst. And when it bursts, it breaks a wide open, like holy hell on earth coming down, okay? And I get that, you know, the figures in this card are celebrating. This does not feel like celebration in this reading to me at all. This feels like a circus wheel of fire, like the ring of hell has just burst forth, okay? Has the ring of hell really burst forth in your life? I don't think so. But really, that may be how you're feeling about it, Capricorn. Almost like you may be making this bigger in your head than it really is, okay? Like maybe this is your fear being represented here. This fear that when I really open myself up, like everything's going to fall apart, everything's going to go to hell, right? And maybe something will fall apart. But if the truth makes something fall apart, it's because it was false to begin with, right? All that's going to fall apart are lies. Nothing real is threatened by the truth. Only lies are threatened by the truth. Only that which is false is ever threatened by truth. So yes, there may be some shakeup coming by acknowledging or seeing this truth. And maybe that's why you guys have sort of allowed this to fester, because that's the sort of underlying feeling. It is sort of allowing something to fester in the background, kind of having that niggling that maybe something was off and not really wanting to see it, not really wanting to look closer at it, let's say, okay? If this is a work situation and not like a personal relationship, it could be that you kind of have a niggling that something isn't quite right or something is going on behind your back, and it is. But you have maybe not wanted to dig into it. So maybe some numbers aren't adding up, but you haven't really taken the time to explore why not. Or maybe you have a suspicion that something isn't quite going as well as your employees or your staff are making it sound like it is, and you haven't really looked into it because you kind of know it probably isn't, but you just want to think that it is, okay? So just kind of showing you how this could be also applied in less of a personal situation, but maybe more of a business situation for some of my Capricorns out there. It's almost like this is what you're trying to avoid. And because there are multiple players involved here, so there may be other people involved in this or that are going to be impacted or affected, and maybe you're worried about that. So maybe it's not even you, Capricorn, that you're concerned about. You might be worried about how the truth could impact other people involved, either in a project or in the family or in this situation. But ultimately, you know, we do have the card of gratitude, and we have welcome. And I ultimately feel like this card is celebration. This to me is a very victorious stance that this girl has. And I feel like this is her standing in her power, but also grateful that she did. And there's this sense of accomplishment and pride and victory. So while, yes, acknowledging the truth may not be easy, and it might cause a shift in the balance of power somehow in a relationship or connection, or it may mean that you are called to take some action that's going to require some courage on your part to do it. And maybe it even means some shakeups for you or for in your other relationships, other people around you. Maybe you got to make a decision, and maybe you know other people aren't going to approve of it when you do it. But I get when you do this and it all settles out, this is where you end up feeling really grateful and really being victorious and in your own power again. And with the light of truth shining upon you, I'm hearing. The light of truth shining upon you, okay? And I keep hearing you knew it all along. You knew it all along. So whatever this is, it's almost like, you know, sometimes we hide the truth from ourselves. We kind of know it, but we just don't want to see it. And so we sort of lie to ourselves. And maybe it is, in fact, I do feel there's another person involved in this who is keeping something from you specifically, but I kind of feel like my Capricorns sort of know it. You sort of sense it or pick up on it, or maybe you've sort of seen that the writing's on the wall and you're just kind of like been doing this. So let's jump over the tarot. I want to jump into this a little bit deeper and see what else my Capricorns need to be aware of with this situation that feels like there's some hidden or deceptive energy going on here. Oh, wow. Okay, Capricorn. Ooh, yeah, this is kind of an intense read for you guys. There's a lot of emotional energy that I'm feeling coming through in this reading intuitively. Like, I'm really feeling this sense of, I kind of feel like my Capricorns feel a little stuck right now, or a little, almost like you might feel a little like you're between a rock and a hard place. And even if you aren't totally acknowledging that there's something hidden in this situation, I feel like part of your intuition is calling you to that. And when I asked for more clarity with the tarot, it's really showing this sense of, I feel like you guys are trying to hang on to something, okay? So the very first card that came out with the tarot is the Four of Pentacles, and I feel like this is my Capricorns curled up very tightly trying to protect, you know, this girl is protecting that pentacle. She's standing on the other two, okay? And she's very protective of what she has. She's trying to hold on to what she already has because she's just terrified of losing it, okay? So I feel like some of my Capricorns, you're worried that if you acknowledge the truth, you may have to let go of something that it feels dear to you or that has brought some level of comfort to you. What's really interesting is I'm being drawn to the fact that there's another pentacle up here at the top of her head. So she's holding on so tight to these pentacles, but she doesn't even see that there may be something better on the horizon for her coming in. A whole other pentacle that she doesn't even realize is there, okay? And then the next card I have is the Empress. I do not really feel like this is my Capricorns. So this is also a card that can represent a nurturing female or a motherly figure. So maybe for some of you, this is a mother figure involved in this. But what I'm being most drawn to in this card is the chest area. And I don't know if you guys can see. Do you see on her chest? I don't know if this is supposed to be a detail of her dress, but what it looks like to me is a rib cage that is exposed, okay? And I kind of feel like there's a sense with this of emotional, this could be like emotional vulnerability, but I also kind of feel like it's exposure. It's like seeing into someone's heart, okay? And I hear heartless. So maybe some of you don't want to admit that someone's feelings for you aren't real, or that they're not as deep as you once thought they were. Maybe somebody who you thought was a friend was not as good of a friend as you had hoped they would be. Maybe this person didn't have your best interests at heart, and that may be part of what you don't want to see about this situation. It might be making it very painful or very hurtful. Maybe some of you feel like you're the Empress and that this acknowledging this truth is going to rip your heart out, okay? If you do identify as the Empress in the tarot, could be you, but I kind of feel like for most of my Capricorns, this is actually representing another female connected to you. This also could be the person that you're worried about maybe being hit with a shrapnel, because I'm still definitely getting this sense with this whole reading of some of you being worried about fallout from this truth coming out, and that there may be other people connected to it that you're concerned could be harmed by it or impacted. And I get, if that is the case, Capricorn, to know that you can't stop it, okay? Like, if that has to happen, it's almost like better to do it quick and get it out there. Like, that the longer you let something drag on, actually probably the worse that could be. So the bite may be worse if you linger here with this situation and let it fester. Also, I feel like some of you, what you're trying to hang on to with this Empress, it's like, because Empress can be nurturing energy. You may be trying to hang on to something that you've been sort of nurturing and putting a lot of emotional energy into and trying to grow in your life. So maybe there's something you've been putting a lot of nurturance into, And that's what you're trying to hang on to. You're trying to nurture these pentacles and you're trying to bring them into fruition. You don't want to let go of what you've put so much of yourself in or invested so much energy into. But then we have Eight of Swords. And this to me feels like a cage, okay? So you may be trying to hold on to something, not realizing that what it's really doing is just keeping you trapped or keeping you stuck. And I still get this message of the longer that you do it, the longer that you linger in it, the more of this you're going to feel. The more stuck it becomes, the tighter those swords get to that woman, and the harder it is for her to move in those ropes that are binding her, okay? So there's definitely something with timing or timeliness of this that actually ignoring this truth, the longer you do it, the harder it's going to be when you finally do get up the courage to acknowledge and to free yourself from it. So you don't want to let this linger, you guys. You don't want to let this drag on. If your heart is telling you something is false or something isn't right or something, there's an untruth here, you do need to explore that further and push into that a little bit, okay? And don't forget what I was getting, like, I feel like you're gonna see the truth in their eyes. I feel like some of you are gonna get that ear itching or burning or maybe even a buzzing in the ear. For me, that is my left ear, but that may be different for you, but be paying attention for that. And then we have under that Seven of Pentacles. Okay, again, I feel like this is my Capricorns having invested a lot of energy into something, either into a person or a relationship or a situationship or a project, okay? You put a lot of effort and energy in and you're kind of standing back and maybe things are not yielding what you thought it would. Four of Swords, I just get let it go, like needing to let go. But I feel like some of you are kind of like sitting back with this. It's like, you know, Four of Swords is a card of non-action. It's a card of inaction. In the Four of Swords, we're just laying still. It can even be a card of death or endings, but I actually feel like in this case, it's in action and trying to like walk on eggshells or preserve the peace. And what are you trying to preserve? So some of you may be trying to preserve a home situation. Maybe you built something together with this person and you thought it was balanced and you thought it was really great and whole or perfect. And the truth, if it comes out, is going to reveal that it's really not. That maybe what you've invested your time and energy into might be vulnerable, or maybe that's what you're afraid of, that something might fall apart here. And so maybe some of you, it's like you don't want to take action in part because you're worried about disrupting something that you thought would be strong or stable, or maybe it's because you, again, okay, I am getting like some of you are worried about cracking a foundation. Like you're kind of worried that this will not just be a little thing to get over, but it's actually going to take down an entire structure or take something out with it that is valuable to you or that you invested a lot into. I feel like there's another message with this though. Give me a second for some of my Capricorns. It's like some of you want to pretend that it is better than it is. And the longer that you avoid confronting the truth, it's like the longer you can continue to believe that, okay? So you may have painted a prettier picture of something in your mind. Maybe that's what you really thought it was or really wanted it to be. And you know in your heart of hearts that when you acknowledge this truth, that you're going to have to let go of that image. Maybe some of you are actually trying to preserve the peace, you know? So Four of Swords can also be a card of peace. So maybe some of you are trying to, maybe you've been not pushing on this, not pushing on this person because you've been trying to preserve the peace or keep peace in your home or keep this relationship intact, okay? And so maybe you've chosen to be quiet and not speak your mind or not push on when this person tells you something that you kind of think isn't maybe fully the case or isn't fully the truth. You've been sort of keeping quiet to keep the peace, okay? Ultimately, I don't feel like that's going to work, Capricorn. I actually feel like that you're sort of setting yourself up if you do that for some disappointment down the road that may be worse than if you just face the music now, okay? Definitely that message of timing coming through from Spirit with this. So the bottom four cards are, like, what are you afraid of? We have the Nine of Swords showing up, which is fear, anxiety, worry, being kept up at night, maybe even crying at night, really stressed out about the situation. I feel like this is probably most of my Capricorns really are sort of feeling this way, really worried about this situation, and maybe secretly have some fear about this situation not being all that it's cracked up to be. And we have to follow by the Five of Pentacles. So for some of you, there may be concern or fear about an actual like loss of resources or loss of finances. Maybe some of you are just afraid of being like left out in the cold by this person that you feel is not maybe being completely honest or upfront with you. Some of you may actually be worried that when you confront the truth, you're going to be leaving someone else out in the cold, or you're worried about the impact, again, that fallout, that shrapnel I was picking up before of like, maybe you feel like somebody else is going to be negatively impacted. And I do feel like there's a sense of like, again, we have another female energy. Don't feel like this is my Capricorns. I mean, it certainly could be with Queen of Pentacles, but actually I don't feel like it is. I kind of feel like this is another female energy coming in here of like feeling like you may have to let go of what you nurtured, but also having to walk away from some financial investment here, something that you invested maybe energy and money and time into, and feeling sort of disillusioned or feeling really kind of bummed out about it. With the Five of Swords here. You know, and the Five of Swords is also this energy of like something not being worth it. It's like that realization that maybe like I've been fighting so hard for this, but maybe it's really not worth it in the end. Is what I'm going to get out of this really worth all that I'm putting into it? So some of you may be starting to question your motives or question this situation, if it's really worth continuing to go through this right now. I'm also being pulled to this one figure in the background who literally looks like he has a stab wound in his back. So some of you may even be feeling like stabbed in the back right now with this. Okay, or maybe you're worried about being stabbed in the back. Or you have been in the past and you might be concerned that that is playing out again. There may be a worry about finances with this too, of like if there is another female or woman connected to this, of feeling like you can't keep this person happy, or you can't support this person, or you can't provide for this person, especially if this is like, you know, a partner, spouse kind of situation. And then I have the Six of Swords. I kind of feel like these last three cards are sort of like an overarching. I asked for a little clarity for this read, and I had gotten Six of Swords. I feel like this is what my Capricorns are being told by Spirit that they really need to do. It's almost like you have to let the chips fall, and then you have to be ready to move forward. You have to be ready to move on and let things fall apart if that's what needs to happen. But it's almost like Six of Swords is traditionally, you're leaving a bad situation behind. We're not escaping something good or positive or happy with the Six of Swords. We're leaving behind something that wasn't working anymore. It's like nothing is left there for us. And so we're moving into better territory, moving on towards a new adventure, towards something that is going to serve us more. And we have the World coming out after that. So again, this is like an ending to something, completing a cycle, closing something out because it's finished and it's time for it to be finished. I feel like the illusion needs to be done. We need to stop living in illusion. It's time to face the truth of a person or situation here, so that we can really do whatever needs to be done, so that we can take whatever action needs to be taken, so that we can take our power back and make some bold moves here, even if that's not easy, or it means facing the music and letting some things really kind of collapse or come out from under us. And maybe some of those things feel like foundational structures with the Four of Wands here. Okay. Look, if the foundation's rotten, then it needs to crack, it needs to come down. We can't just like ignore the cracks. We have to do something about it, right? You don't want to build something beautiful on top of that. And then this is all followed by the Knight of Wands. Again, action, inspired action, moving forward towards the new adventure. And bold, I really feel like bold energy with the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands, I just heard takes no prisoners. That's funny. Maybe that won't resonate for some of you, but it's like the Knight of Wands like doesn't screw around. The Knight of Wands gets to it. And, you know, sometimes the Knight of Wands can be like a rushed energy or a fast energy. And so maybe, you know, when you see this truth, it allows you to take decisive action and really quickly. I don't feel like my Capricorns have a hard time making decisions. You know, this woman's made her decision. It's like once she acknowledges the truth, she knows exactly what she needs to do. She's ready to carry it out. She's ready to move. and feeling determined about that and really clear about that. This woman isn't questioning that mountain she's climbing. She is climbing it with gusto. She knows where she's going next. And I kind of feel like that's the case too. So as hard as this may be to acknowledge or to face up to the truth of the situation, I feel like once you do, that's actually how you get free from it. It's almost like you guys are being asked to let go of something that you've just been clinging on to or trying to hold on to. But the letting go actually frees you to move on and to move forward. I actually think even though it may initially cause, you know, some chaos as it comes out or it is confronted, excuse me. Literally, here's the truth trying to come up, right? Truth is trying to come out. I had to stop and take water. We've got the potential for it to lead to more freedom or things like actually coming together better. Can I get just a couple more cards for my Capricorns? What happens when we admit this truth to ourselves? You break through the resistance. It's your resistance, Capricorn. I really feel like you're the ones holding this in place. I think you know the truth, or you suspect the truth at least, and you've been just holding on and just trying. It's almost like you've been hoping and praying it just wasn't true or it would just get better, and it's not. And that is really keeping you powerless with the Two of Swords here. It's really keeping you from making a move. It's keeping you, it's almost like your hands have gotten tied and you can't do anything. Remember I was saying with this Eight of Swords, like she's really stuck here. She's really stuck and can't move. She can't get free. And it's almost like the harder she tries, the more stuck she gets because she's not acknowledging the truth of the situation for what it is. You can't move forward with this staying the way it is. It's not working. And you know that. I feel like you know that, and so you're just sort of frozen. You guys just aren't moving. And it's because there's all this worry, fear, emotional energy, the what if energy. And again, illusion. The moon is illusion. Hiding from the truth in the darkness, right? We're kind of trying to keep stuff hidden. Maybe you guys are worried about, again, if there's other people connected who are going to hear of this truth, and maybe you're trying to protect someone else, or you don't want to hear what they are going to have to say about it. Maybe you have some family members and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to hear their 2 cents about it when this comes out, or when I have to make this decision or take this action. Okay. I just feel like this is you guys trying to stay cloaked in the night, trying to fantasize, romanticize about something without really facing the music of it, the truth of it. But what happens, my question to Spirit was, what happens when Capricorn lets go? When Capricorn admits this truth and really finally faces it? And we got all those cards, but then we got right after them, 7 of Wands, which is getting the upper hand, getting on top of it. So we've got all this energy of being sort of stuck in this illusion and unable to move forward, unable to really take any effective action. Maybe you guys have been trying to do things and nothing's been working and you don't know why, and it's because you have to face the truth. You have to face the music so that you know what to do, the right thing to do. And here it is, this is you breaking free from that, getting the upper hand and admitting to yourself finally what is really going on here so that you can turn around and move on, so that you can be free and close this cycle out already and move on to something better and take that decisive action that you need to take that actually finally does move you forward and gets you out of this stuck energy. So Capricorn, those are your messages. It's time to face the truth, guys. It's time, even if it hurts, even if it's hard, to acknowledge. And I do feel like deep down you guys already know this. So listen to those little niggles, listen to the signs, look for that evidence that something isn't quite right, because I think you guys are right. It's not, and you know it. So it's time to face the music, because ultimately that's going to free you to move on. Take care, guys. Bye.